Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and this is the first video of 2021. We are here, we have made it, and guys, last year was actually a great year for my channel. I got a lot of new subscribers, and for one, I uploaded 99 videos last year, which is insane. That's a lot more than I thought. That's 99 videos. I only watched 67 new releases last year. That's how little new releases there were, yet I was still able to sustain this channel and do a bunch of cool stuff. So first off, I want to say thank you guys for a great year, despite all the terrible things that happened. But let's make this one also a great year for the channel. So subscribe and let me know in the comments down below what you guys want me to do with my channel, what you want me to review. Give me suggestions, give me anything, because I am open to almost anything. But today, of course, we are looking forward into this year, which hopefully will get a lot of new releases, and I'm excited for a bunch of them. So I put together a list of 10 of my most anticipated movies of 2021, which, cross my fingers, that will actually get some of them, because when I looked at my most anticipated list of 2020, which I never actually uploaded, I only watched 4 of them, and I had 22 movies on that list. So I narrowed down to 10 that I'm crossing my fingers and hoping we will get one day. And I have 4 honorable mentions that I want to get over with right away, which is Black Widow, The Eternals, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Matrix 4, which I know those are all movies that I'm super excited for, but unfortunately they did not make my top 10 list for various reasons. But let's just jump right into number 10 with Old from M. Night Shyamalan, a movie that we have not gotten a single trailer or picture. There's a poster, I can show you guys the poster, but that is all we've gotten from this movie that's supposedly coming out in either February or April. Actually, 2 different places that I looked at had 2 different release dates for it, but it should be coming out this year. And I love M. Night Shyamalan. I love his earlier 3 films, and I loved his resurgence with Splits and The Visit, which is also another great movie. And now that he's doing yet another original film that's not tied into any of his universes that he's trying to make, or hopefully, maybe. I don't know what the twist is going to be for this one, but I love M. Night Shyamalan at his best doing original filmmaking, and his Servant was a great show, so I'm excited to see what he does with his next movie, which, again, Servant Season 2 is about to come out, so M. Night Shyamalan's going to have a lot of great stuff this year. Hopefully, cross my fingers, because he is very hit and miss. And yes, I know, I said that there were 2 Marvel movies that didn't make my top 10 list. Well, number 9 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which, first of all, having an Asian superhero is fantastic. Finally, about time, Marvel. But we're getting the real Mandarin, which is so great, because I just watched Iron Man 3 over the Christmas break, because that is a fantastic Christmas movie, and it gets me excited because yes, there's the whole fake out Mandarin thing, but I'm really curious to see what the Mandarin was supposed to be, what everybody was complaining about, because I love Iron Man 3, but a lot of people hated it because of the way that they handled the Mandarin. So I'm excited to see what this villain is really like, what this actor can do with this role, because on social media he's very genuinely excited, and same thing with the director. So everything about this movie, even though I haven't seen a second of footage, it gets me excited because it seems like the people behind it are very excited to make it. Number 8 is Candyman from Nia DaCosta, and this one, ever since they released that first trailer and then that like shadow puppet trailer, that it was absolutely fantastic and enthralling. That 2-minute short is one of the best things I saw all of last year, and it made me so sad when they pushed this movie until this year, because man, I was getting really excited for this thing, because everybody raves about Nia DaCosta as a director. She's going to direct Captain Marvel 2, which is yet another great thing that is hopefully going to come out eventually. But this one gets me excited because, I mean, I love horror. Horror is my favorite genre out there, and the fact that this one passed over The Conjuring for me, it means something. Honestly, I feel like this one's a little low on my list taking another look at it, but number 7 is The Suicide Squad, which I actually just got done watching Birds of Prey again, and I love Birds of Prey, so that can gauge you guys on what I love from DC. But James Gunn with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he is a fantastic director, and from that one, I guess, behind the scenes / trailer-ish thing that we got during the DC fandom, that was awesome. The posters looked awesome. All these wacky characters that James Gunn is able to play around with seem awesome, and everything that I've heard from James Gunn about this movie just gets me excited. And I love when DC does some different stuff, because this is nothing like anything Marvel would do. This movie was just announced recently to be confirmed to be rated R, which gets me even more excited, because let's see an R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy with the Suicide Squad, with a group of characters that don't completely suck from the first one. And yes, I will take more Harley Quinn any day of the week. Number 6 is Mission Impossible 7, and guys, I am a huge, massive fan of the Mission Impossible franchise, because they have been putting out some of the best action that I have ever seen. Just in every single movie that I've ever seen, the most recent Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Fallout, had some of the best action sequences. It's one of the best action movies ever made. It was that good. I love Christopher McQuarrie behind the camera doing all these things, this crazy stunts that Tom Cruise does, and I'm very excited because this is supposed to be kind of like a part 1 and part 2 with Mission Impossible 7 and 8. So this just gets me really excited because this is one of my favorite franchises. That's not superheroes. That's not anything else. Fast and Furious is one thing, but I am a Mission Impossible fan, and this one I'm pumped for it. All right, cracking into my top 5 is the poster that I have right there, which is A Quiet Place Part 2, which was the first movie to be delayed back when everything was being... Actually, I think No Time to Die was the first one to be pushed back, which actually was on my top 10, most anticipated of 2020, but we all know how that happened. But A Quiet Place Part 2 is another one. Like I said, I love horror, and this one, just from the trailer, from being so incredibly excited for when the second one is supposed to come out, that's really why this one's so high up on this list, because I've been waiting since March to, this poster says March on it. It says March right there. I've been dying to see this film, and we were a week away. I had planned, since I work in a movie theater, I had planned to have a double feature with my crew, and we were going to watch it in a private screening. It was going to be amazing. It's just one more week. We just needed one more week to see this movie, yet it was pushed back, and then hopefully we'll get it, I believe, this April. So again, crossing my fingers. I'm super pumped for this movie. Emily Blunt, John Krasinski coming back behind the camera. What is not to be excited about for A Quiet Place Part 2? Well, if you guys watched my top 10 movies of the year list, you guys saw that Soul was my number 2, which if you want to check out that video, of course, check that out in the little card over there. But I loved Soul, and Pixar is one of those studios that makes such original and unique filmmaking that whenever they do something original, whether it's an Onward or a Soul, at least one of the two is going to be absolutely amazing, stand out, and one of the best films that you'll watch throughout the entire year. Unfortunately, Onward was not that for last year, but Soul was. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that Luca could be that for Pixar next year, because they have a lot of great stuff lined up. But to have this movie that honestly reads a lot like Call Me By Your Name from the premise, which is really, really hysterical, but it gets me excited because it's Pixar, and Pixar's doing another original film in this new world that we've heard very little about, and anything Pixar does is going to crack my top 10 most anticipated. All right, we've reached the number 3 of this list, which is The Last Night in Soho from director Edgar Wright. And one of my favorite movies of all time is Shaun of the Dead, a horror comedy twist with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost that was just a blast to watch. And I still love Edgar Wright as a director. He makes some of the best movies out there, including Baby Driver. But again, this is going to be a straightforward horror thriller from what I hear. It's not going to be one of his comedy films. I bet there's going to be comedy in it because, of course, it's Edgar Wright behind the camera. But hearing that he's doing a horror thriller with one of the actresses from Jojo Rabbit, the main girl, Thomasin McKenzie, that gets me so incredibly excited. And looking at the entire cast, this movie has a recipe of success, mainly because of Edgar Wright, but because of everything that I hear about this movie. The plot is still under wraps, and it doesn't come out till later, I believe in October. But this one, I mean, come on, it's Edgar Wright. If this movie does not crack my top 10 list of next year, it probably was a disaster, which I doubt it. All right, and for the longest time, I actually had this as my number 1 most anticipated of the year list, but I switched it last minute. We are talking about Dune with Timothée Chalamet, directed by Denis Villeneuve, and he is one of my favorite directors of all time. There's Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, because honestly, the film that made me go into film school was Arrival. That movie inspired me in such great ways, and Blade Runner 2049 was one of the best sci-fi movie experiences that I've ever had in the theater. To see him doing a new sci-fi epic based on the Dune series books, which I always hear is like a more darker and more serious version of Star Wars, this is Denis Villeneuve's Star Wars. Like, how exciting does that sound? The space sandworms that show up in the trailer, everything that trailer was, how cinematic it looked, the cinematography, how gorgeous all of this guy's movies are. It got me so excited when I saw that trailer. And again, it was once again pushed, and maybe we're going to get it on HBO Max, but this is one that I will try to make sure that I catch in IMAX in theaters, because my gosh, I can't describe how excited I am for Dune. Watching that in a theater, that whole cinematic experience is going to be one that I need to have this year. But unfortunately, that was not good enough to be my number 1 movie, the most anticipated movie of 2021, which is the Untitled Spider-Man 3 film that we're getting, I believe, in December, like December 17th or something like that. And guys, if we don't get this movie next year or this year, I'm going to be so bummed, because I cannot tell you how excited I am, how much excitement I get every time there's a new story of who else is going to be in this movie, because they're doing it. They're pulling off an entire Spider-Verse, live action Spider-Verse, and hopefully they're going to have Tobey Maguire, and they're going to have Andrew Garfield, and of course Tom Holland. But that also brings in my fears of this movie, because it could really be a disaster, because Sony has never pulled off a good Spider-Man 3 ever. But they pulled off Spider-Verse, and they pulled off the first two Spider-Man movies with Marvel, and that's why I have so much faith in this movie, because it is still Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige having his hand in the pot, being able to play with all these things, all these different movies that they've had in the past. And you would have thought that Amazing Spider-Man 2 eventually led to nothing, but maybe there will be something great that comes out of that. Having Electro come back, Jamie Foxx, having Alfred Molina confirmed to be in this movie as Doc Ock is one of the craziest news stories that I've ever heard. Who in the world would have ever imagined that we can have all the reboots and all those failed Spider-Man movies that we've had over the years and have something great come out of it? That is the dream. That is the hope. And that is what I'm really hoping for. But also, I really hope it doesn't take down and take away from Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because he's such a great Spider-Man. All of his movies have seemed to kind of not really focus about him, or the fear of it not focusing on him, because when Homecoming came out and you heard that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Iron Man in that film, everybody was so worried that it was going to be just Iron Man 4, but it was not that at all. And that's why I have faith in John Watts as a director and this team, because they could really pull something off that could be really great. And as always, what I want to mention at the very end of this video, I guarantee you that maybe one or two of these movies on this list will crack my top 10 movies of the year list at the end of the year, because there are so many indie films that I will see throughout the year that I have not even heard about yet that will inevitably blow my mind. So that is going to be my most anticipated list for 2021. I'm excited to have all these reviews out for you guys throughout this year. And again, comment down below, let me know what you guys want to see from my channel. I'm very excited to make more videos for you guys this year, and I'm crossing my fingers that we not only watch 100 new releases, but we crack 100 videos on the channel, because man, I was one off this year. One video off from 100 videos for 2020, which is just kind of depressing to think about. One off. It's kind of sad. But thanks guys for watching. Leave a like, comment down below, do all the things, and I hope to see you all in my next one.